So here's an interesting article on the subreddit of The Last of Us 2. This is all about the debate about Abby's bulk, how her gains are so big. How is this even possible? And it's kind of interesting when you look at the previous example from the 2017 trailer of her arms on the left-hand side and what they did to her in 2020. Much bigger, larger muscle mass, amazingly so. Again, just massive arms on the 2020 version. So here's a subreddit from an actual female bodybuilder for 4 years, and her picture was taken down from Imager, which she looks at the game itself, and she tries to analyze and figure out how the heck this is even possible. And she comes to the conclusion this is pretty much not possible with the kind of muscle mass that Abby has. Now, unless there was some sort of steroid or some kind of supplement, it's like, yeah, that would be possible, but that's not really part of the game narrative. And they would have expired past 5 years, and we know that after the downfall of civilization, that's 20 plus years. So one thing that gets thrown around is like, well, look at all the food in the WLF. Look at all this, the farm and the animals and the produce. I mean, look at all the protein. Of course, she's eating all this food. It's like, yeah, well, that's part of the procedure. The other problem is, well, eating is rationed. So while it is technically possible, because in the story there's evidence of it, that's not the reality of the narrative. So here everyone's lining up for food,
What the fuck?
Excuse me.
Wait your turn like the rest
and they
of
get
us.
burritos.
We're going to the front. Come on.
And each person gets one burrito. Now, we don't know if that's 3 meals a day. We don't know if that's the only meal a day they get. But let's assume 3 meals, so 3 burritos a day. That's definitely not enough resources to constitute the bulk that Abby's getting. We're talking somewhere in the line of 4,000 calories to 5,000 calories would be needed on average. And that's kind of what we're talking about here for needing to get those kinds of gains. The other thing that is also contradictory to this, that this is even possible, is the exercise routine. So here's the actual workout schedule in the game of Abby. And this is, I guess, outside the gym. And here we see the first month where you have upper body, rest, jogging, full body, rest, yoga, and rest. None of these have anything to do with building bulk in your biceps and triceps. These are just upper body exercises. It's not necessarily weightlifting. The only one that has exercise is on the weights, which is the Thursday of the 4th month. So it's here. I can barely read that, but these say weights. So this would be the only exercise. And she's only doing this once, or rather 4 times per month, every 2 months, if this is to be believed. So she skips a full month of doing weight training. That is not enough training or specific kind of training, and it's not enough food to constitute her arms to be that size, even if there is evidence in the narrative. So it does not make sense that she's able to look like what they were modeled after. Remember, this is the actual character model she was looked like. And she looks significantly different than that. So if you want to read this, I'll leave a link in the description. I don't know how long this person's going to keep it up there. But, she goes on about how it's women and men are not created differently or created equal. There wouldn't be much of a reason to be this big. If you want to argue her plot is to get revenge, well, even then, they would not train her to get this big, let alone allow her to get this big. You wouldn't need all this muscle on the battlefield. Sure, you're wielding machetes and bottles and all these other things, but the WLF is well stocked. So there is no need to have people of this bulk and this size. So I think we can lay to rest that the probability of someone of this size, of what looks like Abby, is just unrealistic. And you can see the great pains they did to change that, and we're not sure why. There was nothing wrong with Abby in 2017 and the way she looked. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Hope you're having a great day.